What is up, everybody? So we are back and we are in my basement once again, but for a slightly different video. We are not going over any kind of investigations or anything like that. Showing some, but some that have, or they've all been seen on the channel, but I digress. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of review some of the equipment that I have. It's kind of an idea that, at first I was like, oh, you know what, maybe I just make like shorts of this, and then I was like, you know what? Why make shorts when I can just review a few of the pieces in my whole collection, kind of give an overview, or, a review, showcase what they've looked like in the field, just taken from certain videos, and, sort of give my opinions on, whether or not they're, good pieces of equipment for going on paranormal investigations. So, for anyone who might be a would-be or, someone interested in getting into the paranormal field. I haven't really seen anything like that, but I also haven't gone looking for anything like that either, so maybe someone's already made this video, I don't know. But I figured I'd just share my opinion on some of the pieces that I have in my collection and sort of go over, what they do, price, stuff like that. Without any more preamble, let's get to reviewing some of what I have in my stock. Starting off the list, I'm going to begin with a very, personally, it's one of my favorite. I wish that spoiler. Personally, I wish that I used it more. I kind of get lost with some of the shinier, more fancy stuff. Things that are a little bit more, entertaining to me to use, that are, more fun to use. Some of them are a little more fun. Here we are, kicking things off with the EMF detector. Now, you guys have seen plenty of this before. Like I said, I kind of just get lost with all the other special things. I like my REM pods, I like my dead bells, I like all the fancy stuff. I love the Estes method. There's just something a little bit, look at that, boom. You got your lights going. I'm sure this is probably, I was expecting it to set off because, basement and electronics everywhere. But as you can see, it's got a nice little gauge meter, up to 5. Can't really, complain too much about that. Sure, you can get, like, a little bit more, like, I guess, professional or high-end ones. I have one, but honestly, there's just something to the look and feel of this, and also, it's not going to run you as much as the other ones. It's going to be about less than 20 bucks. I mean, probably, if you catch it on sale, it could be even like $13. I think it's like somewhere between $13 and $18 on Amazon. You really can't go wrong with this for a beginner thing. Obviously, you're going to go walking around with it lighting up like that. Probably shouldn't jam that too far into your face in case anyone has flash sensitivity, sorry. This was the first piece that I ever actually used on an investigation. Go figure, right? I mean, for as good and reliable as it is, I mean, it's the vanilla ice cream. Like if I was to compare it to like anything, it's vanilla ice cream. It's good, it's reliable, but it is just vanilla at the end of the day. Not too bad to get you started into it, especially because of the price, and also you can still get things. You could be walking around like an abandoned factory or something like that, and suddenly you start picking up a spike, and you can start having a conversation with that, mostly just yes, no's, or like, hey, can you lead me somewhere? But ultimately, I would say, solid 9 out of 10. It doesn't do a lot, but what it does well, and that's really what you want at the end of the day. And of course, to showcase a few, instances where it was used on investigations, here we go right now.
Just one green.
What if this isn't one of the souls?
Wow. Oh, what the f? Okay, bring it back, please.
What?
Wow.
Dude, so we weren't going crazy?
No, dude, that's activity. That's evidence
my
right there.
hand
So
is
my hand was
freezing
it's responding
right
to my commands. That's evidence.
No, I know that's evidence.
Feel
Dude,
that
like,
too,
I'm
or was
cold.
it just me? Look, guys, look. It's literally inside of Kyle.
Oh my god.
Do you have a pacemaker, Kyle? All right.
Wait.
Dude, I'm like I'm freezing.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry if this looks weird, but if there's anybody here, oh my god.
Wow. Hello.
Hi.
If there's somebody down there, can you put that to yellow in 5 seconds? Oh my god, dude. Immediately to yellow.
So moving on from the EMF detector to something a little bit more in-depth, something that's also a little more pricier. You're not going to be breaking the bank with it. here we have the Spirit Box, the SB7. Now, I like this. At first, I kind of, I've used it, I've used friends who, they had SB7s, and I was like, oh wow, this Spirit Box, this is pretty handy. And, I said, let me go and I'll go get a Spirit Box. And so I actually picked up the SB11 first. I'll review that one separately. I think I won't spoil anything, but I will say that, I use the SB7 a lot more. If you guys have been watching me for a while, I use that pretty much exclusively, as opposed to the 11. And basically, it's just a radio. You just flick up the antenna. Thought that was going to work. You have a bunch of settings on here, but it's pretty simple to use. You basically just press the on button, and then you got sweep forward, sweep backwards, which is how it's going to sweep through radio stations. And then basically what you do is you do that, hit go, or I'm sorry, yeah, you hit sweep forward or sweep backwards, and it'll start flicking through. You can choose the speed, that way it's easier to hear, or maybe if you just really want to but personally I choose a slower speed. That's just, it's easier for me to hear. There's a lot less jumble, a lot less static, a lot less flicking noises. And I believe it's about around like $87 to get one of these, and frankly, you're not going to regret the purchase. I mean, even just as the Spirit Box normally, I mean, you can hook it up to a speaker if you want. I'm a big proponent for the Estes method. I really love, just throwing on some noise canceling headphones and just trying to listen in. You get just such a better conversation, I feel, and it's a lot easier to hear. Whereas, if you're just flying with the Spirit Box, it could be a little more difficult to hear. It only goes up to a certain volume. And with a speaker, you kind of just, you're really, whether or not you have a good speaker or not is what you're limited by with that. And it's the same with headphones, but frankly, I think that the headphones, you'll spend probably maybe $30 on headphones, and they'll do a lot better than a speaker will for the same price. So I'm gonna be honest, the SB7, that's gonna get a 10 out of 10 for me. I love the thing, I use it all the time, whether it's for just regular Spirit Box use or for the Estes method. You'll be able to see some right now. Beware. What the f?
John,
Which John?
the Baptist.
John the Baptist? Whoa, what? Is that somebody? And frankly, I mean, how can you go wrong with that? That's great. I mean, some of the greatest evidence that, I've ever gotten on the channel, and that was with a Spirit Box. Obviously, you get great interactions with some of the other pieces, but those are sort of like, I guess, almost like appetizers. They're very, like something like the EMF detector, great, but it's kind of like an appetizer. Which is why that's such a great piece for beginners to get their feet wet into the whole paranormal community and like actually starting investigations. Spirit Box, it's another step up, and it's great, and for the price, it's an amazing choice. You can't go wrong with $87, and it's just such a magnificent piece. It's simple, easy to use. You're pretty much, I don't want to say guaranteed to get results, because I've had investigations that are boring and slow. I admit it. I still put them up on the channel, but that's just to kind of show the realities of investigations. You're gonna have the ones that are crazy. You're gonna have the ones that are slow, and it's such a slog. But that's just the nature of the game. But with a Spirit Box, you get great results, and for the for only $87, if not less, if you get it on sale, no brainer to get. So the SB7 gets a 10 out of 10 from me, and I absolutely recommend it. And finally, to kick this whole thing off, finish it all off, the REM pod. Now, the REM pod, love this thing. As you can see, it has 5 spots for lights, as well as a light for temperature. It'll also beep a certain way, or I think it's a ring. I don't know. Beeps, rings. It's a high-pitched, annoying sound. Which is a slight downside. If you don't like the whole high-pitched noises, you're not gonna like the REM pod. However, I like high-pitched, me like high-pitched noise, me like flashing lights, me love REM pod. Caveman brain really likes it. However, REM pod, it's gonna run you a little bit more. I believe I was lucky enough to get mine for under 200. I think that's what they're going for nowadays. I'll double check that price. All right, so on Amazon, 179 bucks. Can't go wrong with it, honestly. I mean, it's a great, go for it for a Christmas gift. I'll say that. Go for a Christmas gift for the REM pod, because honestly, it's a big price. You know, I was kind of like, I looked at it, I was like, ooh, 179 bucks for that? That's, you know, that was, I was kind of like, and it wasn't like a huge drop in the bucket for me at the time, but it's still pricey, you know. That's 3 digits right there. I don't usually spend 3 digits in one go on one thing. If you're like me, you know, spending that much money on one thing, it's kind of like, what? So, you know, I totally get it if you're kind of hesitant on the price. However, I mean, you get some really great stuff. Personally, I think it's great for content creators because that's kind of what turns heads. It's the ringing, it's the light show that comes with it. It's being able to, you know, when you're interacting with a spirit or an entity and you can actually get some really cool things going with it. It's kind of great, you know, it's kind of a great show to put on while you're, you know, investigating, because it draws eyes. But even if you're just a hobbyist or someone who's kind of interested in the field, you can't go wrong with it. But it's definitely, in my opinion, a Christmas gift, or, you know, like a special gift for yourself, or, you know, just something to sort of save up for. You don't have to go rushing out to get it immediately, because it's not necessary, like how I feel a spirit box is, or an EMF detector. Both really great pieces of equipment. It works great as a motion, well, it is a motion detector, but I mean, it works great if you're trying to set up like a perimeter. You know, if you have this and maybe, you know, if you have 2 of them, it's crazy when you have one set up on one side of an area, one set up on the other, and then you see it back and forth like ping. It's like, it's just, you know, who or whatever you're talking to is just running back and forth between them. That's like insane to see. And, you know, it's pretty good evidence when you're like, hey, can you touch this, and then go touch that, and then they do. It's mind-boggling. So here's, you know, some really great REM pod action going on right here.
Got answers from you?
Aaron,
Yes?
I said.
Whoa.
Right here.
What?
Right
In front.
Yep,
In front of Reed. Reed, stop.
Alright, it's over here now.
What do you think it was just too...
Oh, what
Yeah.
the, bro, what the f?
You like playing with that?
Okay.
Okay. Are you inside the crypt?
I'm gonna move this.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
I would say, because, you know, because of the price, because I don't think that it's entirely necessary for a great time. Depending on where you're investigating, it might be taken to a lot better by the spirits. I was at a cemetery over, you know, just a city over, and it was basically people who were buried there were prisoners and people from a mental health facility. And basically what happened was a spirit who belonged to the spirit of a woman who, she was in one of these mental health facilities like the 1800s. Essentially what I was able to gather on her, she, you know, even in her like mid-30s, which I believe is when she passed away, if my math is correct, she had the mind of a child at like the age of like 35 or 36. And so, you know, she was very drawn to the REM pod. And, you know, I could almost like sort of play a game. Like every time I would like turn and look at the REM pod, it would stop. And then I would turn away and it would start up again, and I'd look back and it would stop. So it's kind of like a fun, you know, it's one of those things. It's very niche, but when it meets that niche, it's great, which is why I'm going to give the REM pod an 8 out of 10. Now, I know I'm rating these pretty high, but, you know, is within good reason. You know, these are kind of like, I'm starting off with the good ones, let's say that. I don't want to just throw in a negative right away. Don't go off, running off to buy the REM pod just yet. See if, it's very much one of those things like, see if this is a field that you want to keep going down in. Go with the EMF detector, the spirit box. Those are my sort of recommendations right off the bat. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want more. If you guys have any recommendations for paranormal investigation equipment, ghost hunting equipment, go ahead and leave your opinions down in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Certainly always looking for more equipment to use, and always looking to see what is the equipment that's really doing a good job, because as you'll see further down the line, there's some equipment that has some controversy around them, and I'll get more into that in those reviews. But for now, EMF detector, great. Spirit box, better, like even better than great. And REM pod, good, but more for, like very niche, covers a very good niche. So these are all devices that really, they hone in on what they're supposed to do and then do it well. That's what they're so strong about them, because there's some equipment, as you'll begin to see, that kind of, they try to do funky things, or they try to go crazy, like they kind of try and reinvent the wheel when they didn't need to, in my opinion. But I'll go over those in a later date. So, like I said, hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to share your opinions in the comments below. Let me know what you guys would want to see more of in a video. I'd always love to showcase more things, or, if you guys prefer certain equipment over other equipment, I'll do that too. So, thank you guys for watching. Have a good one. See you next time.